Welcome to the Bullpen.
They should be concerned for their safety.
Okay. All right.
As long as I'm alive, they should be concerned for their safety.
You're going all in.
I'm all in, bro. There's nothing that's going to stop me. I'm going after specific individuals and their staff that supported this. So in 350 plus staff, we're only looking at a couple thousand people, right? By the way, I will say this. The longer form list, yes, I have all their phone numbers and addresses, etc.
Damn.
Wow. I'm going to explain to you what this is about. We can put it in picture forward mass. Investigative correspondent Jordan Green, who covers right-wing extremism, does a remarkable job, works with everybody, has significant connection in understanding these extreme dynamics. So, Jordan, what in the hell are we looking at?
Hi, Dr. Richey. Thank you. Always good to be with you.
Good to have you.
So, I mean, this is something that has been brewing, probably since January 6th and well before that. But it is a former military officer who developed this list of mostly federal employees and basically anyone who has run afoul of Donald Trump and former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, and kind of in a very granular way, laying out this pseudo legalistic framework to call for their arrest on mostly treason charges. What makes it more disturbing is that he is trying to enlist sheriffs in conservative rural counties to detain these individuals. And there's an element of vigilantism that he's trying to enlist volunteers to carry out the arrest. He also has cultivated ties with members of Congress who chair different committees. So he has continued to promote this plan over the past 6 months, and his rhetoric is escalating.
Yeah, Ivan Raiklin. Now, this guy is a former intelligence officer, worked for the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency. He's a former colonel,
Lieutenant Colonel,
United States Army. So tell me, Armed Reserve, how does this guy, how does this individual who obviously went through significant training, obviously has demonstrated he's able to comply with orders, he gets promoted in rank, and then he becomes this individual who spouts what seems to be lawlessness as his new proclamation for the United States of America, and a loyal Trump surrogate?
It's a good question. I haven't had the opportunity to talk to him about his biographical background and his personal evolution. As you mentioned, he worked for the Defense Intelligence Agency. That agency was at one time headed by Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, and these two individuals have a pre-existing relationship through that. At some point, Colonel Raiklin, he ran for Senate from Virginia in 2018, lost, and seems to have just gone all in on MAGA and election denialism. He was involved in the effort to overturn the 2020 election. We can talk more about that if you wish.
Yeah, let's definitely talk about that. And I also want to get into his potential recruiting of actual elected sheriffs and police officers. So let's talk about January 6th. I see it as a terrorist attack. He sees it as a patriotic move. Talk about how this interplay of his policy stance today may affect us moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, during January, in the run up to January 6th, he was promoting this idea called the Pence card, which is the idea that, as most of your viewers are familiar, the baseless, unfounded idea that the vice president can set aside the electoral votes. And so, John Eastman was the kind of legal architect of this strategy. And meanwhile, Ivan Raiklin was pushing it on like right-wing media outlets and on social media. So yeah, that was kind of his role.
Do you feel, based on your investigative reporting, do you have the sense that this guy, if Trump gets elected, all right, that's a big if, do you have the sense that this guy actually will become a high-ranking official inside of the Trump White House?
No, I do not. I think that he's more the kind of person that Trump would want to keep an arm's length from. The danger is more that he will kind of, Raiklin will kind of instigate and rile his followers up, and they'll become impatient with the pseudo-legalistic framework, and they might, frankly, commit assaults or kidnapping. You kind of look at what happened to former House Speaker Pelosi's husband getting attacked by someone who's like stewing in these various conspiracy theories. And Raiklin's conspiracy theories are, every bit as off the wall as the kind of thing that has stoked other acts of violence against elected officials.
You got to think about this, dear brother, because this individual obviously had and possibly still does have security clearance. And this individual is or has been in receipt of highly classified information. That's the reason you work in intelligence. You are in receipt of classified information in order to exact investigations and make recommendations moving forward. How do you get from an analytical mind? Because in order to be an investigator or an intelligence officer, typically you must possess an analytical mind. You have to critically think. To then go to a place where critical thinking is not celebrated, because conspiracy theories, those that basically subscribe to them, usually are simply reinforcing their own biases and not being thoughtful about processes and procedures. So how do you think this guy was a conspiracy theorist when he was an intelligence officer? Or do you think this is something that's a new brand for him, that is gaslighting in order to be connected to power? Or do you believe he has changed? He's been radicalized by MAGA itself.
Yeah, at risk of trying to get inside of his head, I think there is a radicalization that happens with the proximity to power, and seeing that the central figure of the MAGA movement, Donald Trump, is someone who promotes conspiracy theories, and so.
But Trump don't believe him. Trump don't believe what he's saying. He's just trying to get from point A to Z. He doesn't believe the jargon in between.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can ask the same thing about these operators like Raiklin or say General Flynn, about whether they truly believe it, or if they've just gone down if they believe it and they went down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories, or they know that it's not true and they're using it to try to achieve an objective. And I unfortunately don't have the answer to that question.
Yeah. Well, none of us do, unfortunately. To the point about this individual not being in the administration, but possibly being some kind of proxy for Trump to use, as he has done prior with some of these group Proud Boys, et cetera. To me, it almost makes him even more dangerous, because one, he comes with credentials that others don't have inside of the MAGA movement. Let's be clear. Everybody isn't a former intelligence officer. Everybody is not former lieutenant colonel in the Army Reserve, but this guy is. Everybody's not connected directly to Flynn, who somehow became a superstar to them. They have no idea how, but he comes in with a different pedigree about himself. And then you see
Absolutely.
Trump, who has this, he has this thing, man. He's willing to make you run into the fire. He's not going, just like when he told people to go to the Capitol. He's not going, but he wants to animate you to go. And this guy seems like he's willing to go.
Yeah, I want to be really clear though. Raiklin talks about this plan for live streamed swatting raids against deep state target members, so-called. He talks about implementing it regardless of the outcome of the election. And if Trump is not reelected, or if Trump doesn't win, it's almost more dangerous and as it pertains to this plan, because he's appealing to sheriffs in areas of the country that support Trump to try to exact some justice through other means.
Wow. Is the FBI watching him? Do you have any indication that the FBI is questioning him, watching him? He's on some kind of list?
Former and current FBI employees are on the target list. I was remiss in not reaching out to the FBI. I don't think that they would comment, but I will do that.
Yeah, let's see. He had, well, after this reporting, Jordan, he got to be on the list somewhere, because you can't just let a guy who has the training say these reckless things, say he's going to do them, and he's not on the list for at least a question or two. I understand everybody has freedom of speech. All right, for those who are watching and they would like to get access to this, it's an amazing investigative report. How can they do so?
Google Raw Story and Google Ivan Raiklin.
There you go. All right, man. We appreciate all you do, man. We really do. I mean, you get in there, Doc. You get the answers. I don't know how the hell you do it, brother. But some of your reporting with these right-wing extremists is scary stuff. And you got to be a brave man to do what you do. So we appreciate you. We appreciate all that you do. You always have an opportunity here at Indisputable.
Thank you. It's an honor to be on your show. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Honor is mine.